complex dates back to 1907 when Henry Joy brought the Packard Motor Car Company from Warren, Ohio to Detroit. He believed very strong in the product they were making and strengthened the company by moving it here, and this is where they set up their first plant. And as you see, it developed into an enormous complex over the years. Tremendous amount of history in here, right up until I believe it was 1950. The Packard went out of business in 58. This complex, I think, was used up till like 56. Millions of cars rolled out of here. This sort of the home of quality. Packard, ask the man who owns one. That famous slogan of theirs. The classics that rolled out of this place. It's amazing the amount of history on this ground. What a chapter they wrote in auto history.
Well, just thinking about it, from 1907, 20 years later, 1927, when that vehicle was built, and then all the way up to 1957 when they finally met their demise. And I had no concept of how big this thing was. It's just amazing how many buildings are here. And what a tragedy that it is in such disrepair. Yeah, it is a ghost. Lydia is now a ghost, but she's looking good.
Damn fine looking ghost.
Yeah, she's looking good. She'd like being here. Yeah, she would like being here, but she might cry. Yeah, if she saw it, she might cry. When did they put the equivalent of an assembly line in?
That teens? Well, no, maybe before that. Maybe even before that. Really, 1908, 1909, somewhere in there.
Copied Henry's design, more or less, or his idea. Yeah. Yeah, pretty amazing how they did that. But I would love to be sitting somewhere and watching those old Packards just come off the line, right? Wouldn't that be? Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah.
So we're down at the Detroit Foundation Hotel, which is formerly the Detroit Fire Department Headquarters. A couple of years ago, Detroit Foundation Hotel repurposed this building, a beautiful hotel in the apparatus room, a community space where so many of us have been excited about doing community events. One of those community events is today. We're kicking off an exhibit with the Detroit Historical Museum and the Detroit Firemen's Fund Association.
Well, this brings her back home. I'd really like her to be inside. I gave some consideration to driving right through those big red doors, but I decided that was not really in the best interest of anybody. But yeah, it's really fun to have her back, because I have a picture of Lydia in front of this building in 1928. So she really is home now. So that's a good place to be.
To be here today and see the original ambulance, a 1927 ambulance, and as pristine as it is, you think about the firefighters and the medics who got injured and had to actually be in the back of here. You think of the victims, the citizens that actually had to be in the back of this ambulance. And I've got to take my hat off to them. The times were different, the equipment was different, the technology was different, and they still got the job done. And they put their lives on the line and they sacrificed their lives.
It's a really great way of us, first of all, celebrating first responders. There were historic fire headquarters, and it just made sense. Our partnership with the museum is amazing, and this hopefully is not the last thing that we do. This is just the first thing of hopefully many, and it's just a great way to show off the history of, to illustrate the history of fire in Detroit. And what better place to do it than our hotel, where so many great things were happening for so many years.
I spent the last 13 years on the job at this headquarters. I drove a rescue squad, Squad 1, out of these doors and the doors on the other side. Another thing is this firehouse has the longest poles of any firehouse in the city because it's like a story and a half. So when we slid the poles, we slid a story and a half instead of just one story. I got a lot of stories. Firemen are notorious for dumping buckets of water on people, and they'd get them out here and stand them in front of the door and start talking to them, and somebody'd go on the second floor and dump a bucket of water on them. That's just firefighter stuff.
So in recognition of Brent B-Tech for his outstanding efforts in preserving a unique piece of our history, the 1927 Detroit Fire Department Ambulance.
Hey guys.
And in recognition of Sterling Hot Rods for their outstanding efforts in preserving a unique piece of our history, the 1927 Detroit Fire Department Ambulance.
Being born and raised in a lifelong Detroiter, I was born here in the 70s, just to see the magnitude of the construction and the refurbishing and the revitalization of the city of Detroit. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful day out today, and it's reflective of the city and the uprising and the upcoming of the city. Just keep on moving forward, and it's going to get better and better. We're back. We're going to be better than ever.